As Nancy continues to chase her postman, a bunch of blue dogs are coming for Nancy. Sounds like a Snoop Dogg song. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is LALATE for Afternoons LALATE, our 2-hour programming block that starts every day at 3:30 with the check, then goes to hazard pay, then FPUC, and finally rent assistance. Coming up next on hazard pay, shocking developments as several states issue hazard pay checks today. Wow, great news, really great news. FPUC, new developments about which states are going to get the actual $300 per week and which ones won't. Got to tune in for that. And finally, eviction moratorium. Big battle about an incredible eviction moratorium that could be issued in a state in one state that gives you protection all the way until next year. But this one's about the check, and great exciting news about the check, specifically as to a bunch of blue dogs. Blue dogs? Yes, the day started on Mornings LALATE with us calling out Nancy Pelosi for a series of comments she made overnight that were very troubling, in which she said that she has made a strategic decision to negotiate the way she has. And that choice of words was very clear, that she has put the livelihoods of Americans and Californians last after her negotiation tactics. Well, ironically, your reaction to that video worked. And now a series of groups have come forward and continue to come forward calling for Nancy to change course. Let me tell you where we are. There is an agreement on the second stimulus check, and I want to make this very clear to you, and a lot of people just simply are sort of exasperated with the situation. There is an agreement on the check. There's only two things that are not an agreement upon, and I'll get to that right in a second, but there's agreement upon a $1,200 check coming to Americans. If you're a not dependent, if you're a married couple, $2,400. This is great news. This is really, really great news. And also great news is that the eligibility has been expanded since the first stimulus check. So in the first stimulus check, dependents who are adults did not get a check. They were not eligible. This time around, they are. So if you're on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits, you are not eligible for a check if you were dependent the first time around, the first stimulus package. Second time, the Republicans and Democrats say, no, we want to give you a check. Really incredible news. Dependents and adult dependents, how much is the check? That is the first issue of non-agreement, but it does not appear to be a deal breaker. $1,200 is what the Democrats propose, Republicans propose $500. The other issue that is not a clearly defined agreement is the issue of child support. Republicans want to take out for child support, Democrats don't want to take out for child support. And then the household amount, number of people in the household seems to sort of change. Republicans do sometimes 3, sometimes 4. The Democrats put it at 5 in the member household. So 5 times $1,200, $6,000, really pretty clear. So if we have an agreement about that, what's going on? And a lot of people have lost faith and say it's never going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm going to make it very clear to me. We see each other. Like Candy and Nene, we see each other. There's going to be a stimulus check. The question is when. First, it's not going to come in the month of August. I mean, there's no more days left, unless someone changes the calendar or does different math like Larry Kudlow. I mean, maybe Larry Kudlow reminds himself every morning that there's 45 days in the month. 30 days have September, April, June that have 95 days, Larry. What's that rhyme? So yeah, there's no more days left in the month of August to get a stimulus check because we're simply running out of days. If you recall, I said to you, it takes about the following 13 days. 13 days. Nancy and Steve make an agreement today. 13 days you add to it. How do I get that? Steve Mnuchin says 10 days for Treasury to set it out after a date of agreement. I say 1 day for House to vote on, 1 day for the Senate to vote on, 1 day for the President to sign it. That's 13 days. Now, some of your banks are, they're like molasses. They process checks, in a month. And others, you generally process checks overnight. So, you could be 14 days for some people. But if you receive your payments by direct deposit, this is what's really great news, is that you would, if you receive your benefits, by direct deposit, by debit card, you receive it on the 13th day. So, as we sit here now, August is just not a possibility. September is. And I know you need the checks a long time ago. And this is very disconcerting to you. They're not coming this week, and they're not coming in the month of August. But the great news is that they are likely, the great news is that they will come in the month of September. I'm putting the word will in the verb. And I'm going to tell you why. Democrats today really followed suit after our series of reports this morning on Mornings LA, where we called out Nancy Pelosi. And if you didn't catch it, let me tell you what's going on. There are fractions across the country that are calling for stimulus checks to go out now as a standalone bill. You have called for it, and America's finally waking up. I told you there was a point at which reality was going to kick in. It's now kicking in. Who's kicking it? Let me tell you who are the parties. Mark Mnuchin. Nancy Mnuchin. Mark Meadows has said 3 times in the last 6 days. First, standalone stimulus check deal. Let's set it out. Let's do it right now. President will sign the bill. Let's do it right now. Okay, Mark, I love you. Just agree to the $1,200 dependence, and I really love you. Steve Mnuchin said the same thing. So the both sides of the Republicans in the room, the negotiation, want to do it. Nancy, no. Nancy overnight said, no, I'm not doing it. It's a strategic error. It's a strategically bad move. And it's just very disconcerting that she's used these words. And these words are very troubling. She said 2 places. She said it on PBS News last night, and she said in a press release. However, we must consider their time and strategic value. Your strategic value is to go home. If you don't want to do a stimulus check standalone bill, go home, Nancy. You're of no use to the American people. Go home. And I'm saying very blunt to you, go home. Chuck Schumer, you stay back in New York. You are a complete waste of an elected official this week. Chuck Schumer, if you've not watched Chuck Schumer, he's made a mockery of Americans this week. He went to Congress and went around New York and got a standalone stimulus bill for who? Broadway. Hello, Dolly. You need to do one for the entire country, not just New Yorkers. He also was trying to push a bailout of states whose leading contender is the state of New York. He then turned to Carolyn Maloney to do a standalone bill to go after the postmaster. Who's Carolyn Maloney? Also for New York. What is this? What is this? The elected official who only works for the state of New York? You are not there, Mr. Schumer, only for New Yorkers. This is California, and I'm talking on behalf of California people. You are not representing my state, and you're not representing the people of this country. And now a lot of Democrats are absolutely pissed off with Chuck Schumer and very upset with Nancy Pelosi. And who are they? They're blue dogs. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? They aren't backup singers for Snoop Dogg, but they maybe they should be. Who are these blue dogs? The Blue Dog Coalition sent a letter to the House and Senate urging for a bipartisan negotiation that would include a set of priorities. 1, extension of unemployment benefits. 2, measures to keep workers tethered to their jobs. 3, support for state and local governments. 4, second round of economic impact checks. That's stimulus checks. That's another way of calling them. And 5, oversight committee. They are ramping up. It was signed by all members of the Blue Dog Coalition. Do they come in with, like the big masks, like in a rave, and on the left is the zebra, and on the right is the rhinoceros with the head mask, and it's like, then the techno thing comes on. It's like, I just had this great vision of these Blue Dog Coalition. God bless you, Blue Dog. Now, I read their letter, and it's addressed to Pelosi, of course, and it calls for these priorities. Now, what I don't like about the letter is it doesn't say the path to get these things done. Now, the group that I truly do adore is the group that is led by 114 members of the House. These are Democrats, and they're led by Representative Scott Peters of California. I think he's out of San Diego, California 52. Don Bayer, Virginia. Representative Derek Kilmer. Loved you in Batman Returns. You were just the greatest Derek Kilmer in that role. And I hope they bring you back. And 114 other members who are definitely tired of the Joker. You can decide who the Joker is. And they said, hey, we need a standalone bill for $600 unemployment benefits. So everyone is ramping up. Now, that's not all of the people that are ramping up. There are literally fractions in the Democrat Party, fractions in the Republican Party. They're saying enough is enough. Enough is enough. I mean, this is the simplest thing in God's name. A stimulus check. You can put the adjective that you want in front of the stimulus check. I'm not going to do it because I got into trouble with it before. But that stimulus check could be the difference between a person on the street or a person in their home. It could be the difference between a family of 4 eating today or not eating tomorrow. Nancy Pelosi's response is go pound sand. Our response is go home, Nancy. What's going on is this is Friday afternoon. You made it to the week, and congratulations. And my question to you is, are you flying into D.C. to vote on the postman tomorrow? No, you're not. Well, Nancy is. She's chasing her postman. It's her obsession. She's chasing Mr. DeJoy DeJour, and she wants to talk to him. Well, the rest of our party wants to talk to her. And so does Steve Mnuchin, Mark Meadows, or Mark Mnuchin and Steve Meadows. Steve Meadows, he used to do a morning show in here in LA, didn't he? Was it? No, they want to talk to her. Everyone wants to talk to her. And her response is, I got $28 million in my name. I don't need to talk to you. I just stay in my room and just not close the door and issue press releases say where children are going hungry. Children are going hungry. Chuck Schumer's helping Broadway. Nancy Pelosi has the same script. She literally has the same Broadway script she's reading every single day. Nancy, children are going hungry. No, it's actually worse than that. The whole family is going hungry, Nancy. And so why are you chasing around a postman while not getting these things done? Now, she talked about a lot of strange stuff, and I certainly want to address this as well, and I didn't do it earlier today. This is what's really weird, and it probably takes an entire video unto itself. She claims that if she did standalone bills, that Steve Mnuchin would put a poison pill in it, and then it would get changed by the time it's in the Senate. It sounds like a bad Austin Powers film. But I want to ask you, Steve, because I know you're watching this channel, Steve Mnuchin, can we do something so we ensure that there's no poison pill? I mean, I know we don't have a vaccine for COVID-19, but do we have a vaccine for bad Kentucky senators? I mean, I don't know what this poison pill threat is that Nancy's worried about, and I don't know what she's talking about. It sounds very, very tantalizing for, the next Tom Cruise film in the opening 10 seconds, but it's like, if it's not true, then let's just get on with the crap and just get the bill signed. Thank you. So everyone wants to talk to Nancy this Saturday. She's flying in Learjet, a Rolls-Royce limo stretch. She's going to the Capitol Grill to have her fat lunch, and then she's sitting down and talking about the postman. Well, I'm embellishing it, but you certainly understand the situation. The postman has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with her. It has everything to do with getting her check, and I'll tell you why. The postman is about Democrats winning the Senate. If you've not seen those ridiculous commercials that are on every single 10 seconds saying vote, 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 get Democrats elected with this fall. Well, they're worried they're not going to win if the postmaster is rigging the election by moving mailboxes. Certainly a clear threat. But here's the rub, Nancy. No one's going to get their ballots if they're homeless. No one's going to vote if they don't have a pen or pencil. No one's going to do, no one's going to be able to search the mail-in voting locations if they don't have Wi-Fi because they can't afford the internet. No one's going to do these things because you've left America destitute. You've left America destitute, and then here comes my attack on Chuck Schumer. Because you want to do bailouts for the state of New York, Chuck. We all see what's going on. You want to do a big bailout for your cushy friends in the state of New York, Chuck, while there are states across the entire country that are not besides the state of New York, and you want to do a big bailout for the state of New York. Now, whether or not Mr. Cuomo has problems financially with his state, I understand it. It's not a priority. And here's what I did not cover in this morning's video, and this is what's really great news. This is really great news, and a lot of people are like, that's not great news. It's great news when people understand the caper. It's great news when you're watching Mission Impossible and everyone in the movie theater, well, it's not great news for Tom, but it's great news for everyone in the audience when you already know how the film is going to end. America's already on to this bailout of the states. Everyone's on to it now, Chuck. And we all see what it's about. Well, the bailout of the states is not a pressing concern because they don't need to be bailed out right now. The citizens need the relief. Moreover, here are two other things to consider. And I've not dealt with them before, and this is a really big issue, and I need to press this very clearly. States can go borrow. States can go borrow. What Nancy and Chuck want to do is give free money to states. Free money to states. States can go borrow. If they don't want to go borrow, go bankrupt. Because you have the ability to go borrow. In fact, Jerome Powell's over here saying, hi, I'm Jerome Powell. Remember me? I'm the guy everyone forgets. I'm sort of like, I'm like that friend of the housewife that everyone's like, oh yeah, there's that friend of the housewife. I'm that guy over there. Jerome Powell has a lot of money waiting for you, Governor Cuomo and Gavin Newsom. There's a lot of money over there with Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell's created the Main Street Lending Program that allows states to borrow fortunes. Fortunes. Have you gone and got the money? Andrew? Gavin? Have you applied for the money? No. You want free money. Free money. Isn't that convenient? You just want free things so that, Gavin Newsom can go make more commercials with Kim Kardashian and on our tax dollars and, no, go borrow. America needs free money now. America needs stimulus checks now. America needs FPUC now. America needs eviction moratoriums now. If you have a problem, states, you don't need the money now to be resolved if you think you need free money. For now, you can go lend. You can go borrow. And in fact, some states are. Some states have actually said they are going to go borrow to handle things. You don't want to borrow? Well, then shut your doors. I mean, that's how businesses work. As Kevin O'Leary said, if you don't understand how to operate your business, then shut your doors. Go bankrupt New York, and then we'll figure out who gets reelected at the next election cycle, Mr. Cuomo. Because if you can't figure out how to balance your budget, if you can't figure out how to go borrow when New York has fortunes and assets to borrow against, then why are you putting America's stimulus checks before you? How dare you? I'm still laughing about the Blue Dogs. It sounds like a great rap song. But there you go. So when will we see our stimulus checks? When would Nancy change course? When is the heat going to heat up? I have told you to keep on tagging videos from this channel to representatives. The deal is the following. I'm not going to make political videos like I did this morning. That was a one-off. I can't do that on a regular basis. My job is to keep you motivated, informed, and positive. And I can't do a negative video like that was, but I had to give you a reality check. And so my job is to keep you really focused and motivated. And the motivation is that you're going to get a stimulus check. You're going to get a stimulus check. It's not coming the month of August. It's going to come in the month of September. But you, as a viewer who watches this channel, who has access to some form of internet, need to really tag elected officials because you've done an incredible job overnight. You need to tag those elected officials and say, hey, stop it. Standalone bill, stimulus check. Standalone bill, extension of FPUC, $600 a week. Standalone bill, moratorium, red eviction moratorium. And I've seen the comments by other viewers. You want to do other stuff. I'm sorry. Those other things are not urgent. These are the three urgent things that need to be done. So while I applaud the Blue Dogs and their strange name, and I applaud Batman and Robin, Representative Peters, I applaud you. You need to do more. 3 standalone bills need to be done and need to be done quickly. If you didn't see Mornings LA, I said that the Representative Peters wants this to come to a vote this Saturday. So, get that scarf, call up Javita, and get that scarf and Nancy, we're not going to reelect you or anyone else if you don't get this to a vote. And this is where we are. Coming up next is hazard pay. A lot of big developments. I want to say something to you that there is an element of optimism across the country, and it's not just me. Someone said in the comments, which was very disconcerting, you're the only one saying we're getting a stimulus check. No, I'm not the only person. You're the only one that's optimistic. No, I'm not the only person that's optimistic. The number one trending story on CNBC is there's hope for a $1,200 second stimulus check despite stalled congressional talks. That's the story. The entire story was that you're getting a stimulus check. There's hope that a stimulus check is going to get done right away, but it's stalled. So it's not like someone's giving false hopes. And I see those comments. They're not being posted because they're going into the delete folder. But Raymond James, a Washington policy analyst, Ed Mills, says neither side wants to give the other side a victory right now. They don't have to. Just do a joint bill, as this guy in the purple shirt told you, joint standalone bill. Other areas are untouched. It's the only areas that has truly bipartisan support when he's referring to the stimulus check. It's one of the only true areas that has true bipartisan support. The longer we go without enhanced unemployment, the longer we go, the economy is still not fully recovered, the greater the economic need is for those checks. There you go. So hit up Representative Scott Peters, Don Beyer, Representative Don Kilmer. Tell him that you support them. There's 114 others. Tag them, hashtag checks or else. Tag the blue coalition, the blue dogs, and tell them, hey, I am supporting you, but we need to move now. The New Democrat Coalition is the name for Batman and his group, and the situation continues to be worse. Today, more retailers expanded their foreclosures or their bankruptcies. Lord & Taylor, more locations announced. Over 2 week span since July, since Nancy has not gotten this done, 7 retailers, including the Paper Store, Brooks Brothers, and Lucky Brands, filed for bankruptcy. J. Crew, Neiman Marcus, JCPenney have also filed in May. Lord & Taylor, Steinmark hit this month. And now they claim there could be a tsunami of new bankruptcies to be announced by major retailers in the next few days. The viewers of this channel who became homeless in the last 2 to 3 weeks because of Nancy Pelosi's negotiations. It's time to move. Coming up after this is hazard pay. Big developments with several states paying out hazard pay. This is really great news. Then we have FPUC, that incredible development about more states applying, but why that's a false sense of hope. You got to watch that video. And then after that is rent assistance, with an incredible development here in one state as to getting an eviction moratorium all the way into next year. Boy, really great news. Keep it positive, keep it motivated, keep smiling, and stay with LA.